Hi, this is Amanda Elo'esh, your Urban Indigenous Priestess here with your weekly inspiration. And wow, we've really been on a roll with this grief and loss series, and I continue to get a lot of feedback from you saying that this is really helpful. So I'm just going to continue to share with you my process because it seems like we're all kind of in the same boat together. And so what's come up for me this week was something that was really helpful. And I have a master's degree in counseling psychology, so what I'm about to share with you is something that's really basic for me. But even I found that it was incredibly helpful to hear this piece of information. It helped me to go easy on myself, and that is that part of the natural process of grief includes a period of depression. And the signs of depression are lacking motivation, low energy, wanting to sleep more, having a more flat affect, which means, not being more flat in the emotions, basically, not having high highs and maybe probably still low lows, but your joy level seems to be turned down. And I all of a sudden realized, oh yeah, I'm in a depression. And the funny thing is that I am such an incredible optimist, and I'm an incredibly positive person, and almost annoyingly so to some people. And and I've actually been blessed with every once in a while, for obvious reasons and sometimes for not an obvious reason, for a day or two I'll just be in a funk, and I'll realize after a little while, oh yeah, I'm having signs of depression. So the reason I say it's a blessing is because there are so many people who suffer from depression, and for many people it's a daily experience. It's 24/7, and I have very dear friends and family who deal with depression, and it helps me continually remember how fortunate I am, number one, to not have to deal with depression on a very regular basis. It gives me a great amount of compassion. And so for anybody who's experiencing depression, whether it's because you're in a process of grief, or because it's your constant or continuous station, the state that you're in most of the time, my heart goes out to you, and I hope that what I have to share is helpful. So first of all, it really just helped me to recognize I am in a place of depression, because even though I knew that the grieving process required that I be more restful, that I'm not going to have as much energy, and it's a time for not trying to do a lot, for taking care of myself, slowing down, there was a voice in my head that was kind of you're not exercising that much, and your normally really healthy eating habits seem really difficult to enforce, and other just getting on doing my work, doing this, answering my emails, answering my phone, getting my phone messages returned, anything that I haven't absolutely had to do has been an incredible challenge. And there's been a little voice in the back of my head that's kind of been saying, oh, you're being lazy, and you should be getting something done. And I have this list of things that I could be or should be doing. And fortunately, I've been able to not let that voice put me in a place of guilt or shame. And I've made the best choice I could in each moment without being pushy with myself, and allowing myself to be more restful, to get more sleep, to meditate longer, to be in times where I'm doing absolutely nothing, reading more, listening to really inspirational music, talking to friends live and in person. So I wanted to just share with you that it's really good to let go of that voice. If that voice continues to come up, to just continually say, thank you very much. I'm going to take care of myself right now, which is what I've been doing. And simply understanding that depression is a part of the grieving process, even though it's something I already knew in my head. For some reason, hearing it on this podcast the other day helped me to validate it. And that's just a human quality. We sometimes have to be told things we already know before we really believe them, or before we allow ourselves to benefit from the things we already know. We have to have that affirmation outside of ourselves sometimes, which is a bit disempowered, but it's just, it's truth. It happens. So I wanted to share that with you. So hopefully hearing this helps you to recognize that the depression is totally normal. And depending on the intensity of your loss, depending on the other possible stressors in your life, depending on your internal resources and your external resources, meaning, how sensitive are you? How much do you have experience with taking care of your emotional waves? Do you have people you can talk to? Do you have people in your community you can ask for help? Do you feel comfortable asking for help? All those things can add up, and depression can be in our lives from anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. And on the beyond 6 months side, it's a good idea to get support, because unfortunately we live in a day and age where you don't get, you get like maybe 1 or 2 days if you lose somebody from the corporate world. And we just don't, the world doesn't stop for us, and we're expected to continue on. And so if you find that you are in a place of depression and it's really difficult to take care of your body, your mind, your spirit, your responsibilities, if you have children or other, big responsibilities, that's going to be a big deal if you don't come through on them, it would be really great to reach out and get help. And it would make me so happy if you wanted to connect with me. Because another piece that I wanted to share with you is that another reason I'm grateful for being able to walk through this depression right now is that even more than before, and it's more clear and more powerful, I actually have a lot of joy in my life. I don't feel sad. I have moments of tearfulness and really experiencing the loss on a deep level where I can be, and I give myself to that experience. But I don't really feel sad, and it's not a result of bucking up or holding it in or pushing it away. I'm fully feeling all of what's coming through, but I've found certain keys to helping me to have unconditional joy in my life. And I talk about it all the time. I call it spiritual composting. And I've walked through intense grief and dissolution in the past and learned all these great things. And I also see what a blessing it is to be in it right now. Now that my website's up and I'm recording these videos so that I can share with you as best I can in a brief video that it is possible to live the full spectrum of life and to be fully present in your life and have all the experiences, which we can't control death, we can't prevent death, and we can't prevent loss. And all of us as human beings go through that experience. And to be able to do it fully without losing your joy and your gratitude and your appreciation for being alive is one of the biggest gifts ever. And it makes this time of grief so potent. And I actually, in a very brief conversation I had today with a friend, I realized something that just feels so true for me, and that is I believe that the depression isn't anything other than a gift. And that gift is really not having the bandwidth to deal with the mundane world, to really, like I've being on my phone and answering emails and doing the mundane things has just been too much for me. And so I've spent more time in nature. I've spent more time in meditation and prayer. I've participated in more ceremony with my community, and been more internal and more inward. And in that experience is a lot of preciousness, a lot of joy, a lot of beauty, yes, a lot of crying and a lot of grief and loss, but it's so potent and it's so close to the sacred. And I feel like the depression is this opportunity to let go of the things that just don't have to be taken care of, that we think are important. So I wish I had the ability to break down like X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, and 3 are the things that you need to do to be able to turn your depression into joy, or to live joyfully while walking through the depression phase of the grieving process. It's not that simple, but it is completely possible. And I've done it many, many times myself. I'm doing it right now. And I've helped a lot of people to do the same thing. And so I mostly just want to say that it's possible to have joy, and the depression is temporary. Whether you get help or not, it will get better. It can get better maybe faster or more easy if you have a mentor, if you have support, but it will get better. And so I just wanted to send that message to you. My heart goes out to you if you're in a place of grieving. We're in the same boat. Many, many people are in the same boat right now. This time that we're in right now, we're all feeling raw. We're all feeling things much more intensely. And this is a time to really be gentle with ourselves and allow that rawness to speak to us. There's a lot of wisdom in there. So I send blessings your way. And if you feel like reaching out, please make sure, if you're not on my website, to go to my website. It's here right here. And check me out. There are contact forms. I'd love to support you in your process. And if you really like it and you're not getting my weekly inspirations, then sign up, and then they'll just be delivered to your inbox. I'll never use your information for anything other than giving you your weekly inspirations. And you'll get extra information, extra support in those emails that I don't put anywhere else. And please tell other people, especially if you know anybody who's in the grieving process. So my heart goes out to you. Many blessings on your journey. And until we get to connect again, may you remember the joy.